Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm reading this book. It's a reflex. I call it transfer. It's called "TRANCE-FORMATION of America," and it's by two people. And one of the persons is she says that she was a mind control slave for the government. So she says that she went into this experience where she was held by her captors who made her fully robotic. She wasn't able to respond to any free thought. She had to do what they said, and she was controlled by them. So she went and had all these experiences and did all these things and saw all these secrets, like the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. She was his sex slave, and she served the president coffee while committing various sex acts. Actually, so like, it really makes you think of like what goes on in the upper echelons of government. This is supposedly on a White House Pentagon level. It makes you question who's in charge and who's making the decisions and how much we're controlled by them. Because the idea behind this is that there's this huge plot to create a controlled society in America. So it's not like this in India or other places. You feel at home if you go there, I've heard. In America, it's like this regime that's set up where, you know, you feel like the media, the criminals who are in charge of these programs are setting it up so there's no free will. So the fear is that America, which was founded on wonderful principles, is going to be exposed to the rest of the world as this place that's committed these horrible mind control atrocities on people. And everything I see is colored by that, because after reading this book, I can't put it down. And it seems like there are a lot of things that can't be discounted, like the fact that her case was turned away from the Supreme Court for reasons of national security. It's almost like these people were hiding something. And one of the things they said in this book was to disseminate the information and have other people step forward who have had similar experiences. Now, I doubt there's anyone who's watching this who's had experiences as a sex slave, as a mind control, Pentagon level sex slave, or someone who is, I mean, that was what she focused on. She focused on these things because she was a woman. I mean, if it was a guy, I don't know how many guys would be sex slaves. I don't know how many people want that. But they could be used for, like 007. She made the correlation that they can have programs put in them where they'll behave and respond in certain ways to be trained to automatically fire a weapon or kill someone without remorse. Just really horrible things. So I read the book. I wanted to give a review on it. My opinion is that really it's something that should be taken with scrutiny and discernment, and not to get all riled up about it and think that it's true and it's really happening, because that's kind of pointless. It just leads to fear. But people who are awake and understanding where their thoughts come from can realize that having all your thoughts come from one book isn't necessarily a good thing. This book, Just a Story About Me, was one I read a long time ago in Nebraska with my when I was with some people, and I actually, if I can say this now, I went under mind control from reading the book because I was so suggestible. I actually behaved robotically for a long time, and I know some people noticed. They're probably like, "What's going on?" It's just there was stuff that I did that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't been automatically directed by my own movements and muscle memory and programming from things that I picked up from the book. So it affected me. So reading it, and I don't recommend reading it, definitely put me in that state. So when I see her process after she's gone through this and she talks about it, it's like she's talking about me. I'm like, wow, this is a person I can relate to because I've been through the experience. Maybe I had to go through hell so we come out the other side and have some understanding. So I guess this book is for study if you want to learn something, but be objective because you don't want to become like me, under control of thoughts and ideas. I guess control is not a very good word. It was the word I used at the time because it's how I felt. But I guess like under duress, or like your actions are not your own. I mean, it's just a book. It's just knowledge, but knowledge can be very powerful. So when you don't use discernment, it can control your perceptions. I think that's what I meant by control. So as far as my review, it's like one of the best books I've read in a long time. Reread. It's very disturbing. It's not for someone who wants to have a light read. It's really going to suck you in. And if you're like me, you're going to start to notice things that they talked about in the book all around you, which will reinforce your programming. Like when they talk about Disney, it'll make you think about like people who wear shirts that say Wizard of Oz. Like, who's the Wizard of Oz? Can he really do these things and control and affect and change the future? Maybe there's hope. Maybe someone can get past all this and see it for what it is and then make a difference. Because that's really what it's about, making a difference. Or maybe someone will just read it and get paranoid. These are all just thought processes and mental constructs that I got into just from thinking about it. That's how powerful it is. It made me go into that place where I was really starting to think and feel those things that I was saying. So I want to post this just so people can have an overview about it, as a thing that, like, it's probably not going to be on Oprah's book club, anything like that. It's too dark. I don't think they deal with things like that. They want like spiritual things that are lighthearted and have a good message. But this is a heavy read for people who really want to be open-minded. Thanks for listening.